Yep, this is what it feels like to live in Tucson sometimes. It's not always saguaros and sunshine. In this trash can, I have filled and written down all of the worst things about living in Tucson, all of the little things that absolutely bug me from the time that I've lived here my entire life. I spent a lot of time going through all the details in my mind, all of the little situations I've found myself in, and all of the little annoying things you're going to want to know about if you're considering moving to Tucson. So in this video, sit down, grab a drink, because we're going to dive into all of the nitty gritty, the things you're not going to be able to find on Google. You're only going to be able to find by talking to me, someone who's a local, an expert in Tucson, and someone who's going to be 100% real with you. And stay tuned, because one of these I'm going to share is one of the major reasons my wife and I decided to leave one area of Tucson and relocate to another. So stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss that. Let's jump in. Hey, I'm Rich. My family's lived in Tucson for over 150 years. If you're looking to know everything about lifestyle, real estate, and new builds in Tucson and the surrounding Tucson areas, then you've come to the right place. Hit that subscribe button and tap the bell for notifications so that you don't miss a thing. Now, before we get started, if you don't know, I've worked professionally in real estate, both as a real estate appraiser and a real estate agent for over 15 years. And in that time, I've helped a couple thousand people like you buy or sell a home in Tucson. Now, if you're looking today or even a year from today, let's get connected. You can call, text, email, or schedule a free Zoom consult. All my information's down below. So let's get connected. Ooh, today's gonna be good. I have spent a lot of time going through this, and to be honest with you, I'm excited to share this with you because there's some really good ones in here that I know you're really just not going to know about unless you're talking to someone who is a local, someone who has experienced it, someone who's seen the change, experienced the change, the nuances, and can specifically elaborate on that. So before we dive in, I just want to say, yes, I still live in Tucson, and this is from my opinion. Everyone's going to have an opinion. This is mine, and I'm excited to dive in on the first one. So at number one, everyone can relate to this one. Mosquitoes. Yes, we do live in the desert. And yes, we do have mosquitoes for sure. Every year there's mosquitoes, and I don't know specifically why the mosquitoes here to me seem more annoying than mosquitoes elsewhere. I've visited New Orleans in July. I've spent a lot of time in Maryland in the summer times. I've been to upstate New York. It can be hot. It can be wet. You've got humidity. It's a lot greener, and mosquitoes you would think would be worse. But for whatever reason, mosquitoes here still seem to be the most annoying to me. And that could be for a number of things. It could be that I have a long-standing relationship of being annoyed by the mosquitoes here. And because of that, my battery for annoyance from mosquitoes is drained. And it's maybe been that way for a while. Maybe it's because I've had it with the mosquitoes in Tucson, but the mosquitoes in Maryland, the mosquitoes, maybe wherever else I'm visiting, I'm still I still got a little bit of juice left for them. I don't know. That could be the case. But for whatever reason, even my wife and I recently visited Maryland to visit some of her family. The mosquitoes didn't seem as bad. We got bit a little bit, but it didn't seem to be as big, welty, type of bites that we get from the mosquitoes here in Tucson. So that is why it made the bucket pull list. Next up, we're going right into it. I mean, we're talking about, for some of you, this is going to hit home. Public pools with weird hours. it's hot in the desert, and if you live here, you're planning on living here, and you want a small yard, or you're looking for a house without a pool, public pools are a great resource. And we do have quite a bit of public pools around Tucson, which is great. The tough part is that the hours seem to be super weird. It's like 2 or 3 days a week they're available or open, and those free swim hours are like from like 1:30 to 3:30, 3 days a week. And two of those days are a weekday, and then one of them's like a Sunday or something like that. And so the hours are just strange. The open swim hours aren't they're just not a whole lot of them, and it seems to be a citywide public pool schedule. And particularly, another thing that's kind of frustrating about it is I have run into this, I think, twice, where I've looked on their website to see if they're open and what their hours are, and then I show up at the pool and that's not correct. Either they're closed or the hours have changed and they're doing some sort of like group activity that's not recreational swim. And that's particularly painful when you have a toddler who you've committed to going to the pool, you've dressed them, got them in their suit, they're excited and amped. We're all really excited to hit the water, and then we get there and plans change. If you have a toddler, or if you remember being around toddlers and trying to deliver that news of change, you can kind of fill in the blanks of how that went. But that's the one that really sticks in my mind like a thorn of like, okay, this the public pools need to get their stuff together. Well, kind of on the same token, lack of water parks. Man, for a place that is hot and people, it is really hanging out by the pool, enjoying summertime. It's a vibe out here, and I think it's a survival thing. You got to get by water. If you're gonna be outdoors, you need to incorporate water in your life. And for a place like that, we don't have any big water parks. Like, what is happening? When I was young, we had a big water park called Justin's Water World, and that closed down when I was I don't even know, maybe I was 10. It was probably 25 years ago that closed down. We haven't had anything since. We may have some like splash pads around town, but nothing with like big water slides. Like there is La Paloma has a water slide or two. There's some resorts that have water slides and some lazy rivers. So there's stuff. But I'm talking about like a Six Flags scale water park, something that has a big wave pool, lazy river, multiple slides. You know what I'm talking about. A really big dedicated water park. We are missing that, and that is, in my opinion, and I think a lot of local Tucsonans' opinions that I talk to, that's a missed opportunity. So hopefully someone who's got the idea to build a water park is watching this, and you want to capitalize on the demand. Ooh, this is one that's going to get people cursing in their car. Interstate access. The traffic can be difficult anywhere. Tucson is not any different. What is different about Tucson that makes it particularly frustrating is the interstate. There's two main interstates. There's I-19, which runs north to south, mainly from Tucson south. And then there's Interstate 10, which runs kind of easterly to westerly. And neither of them help traffic in the major parts of Tucson. Specifically, Oro Valley, Catalina Foothills, Sabino Canyon, Tanque Verde, Northeast Tucson, that whole belt is isolated from the interstate access. I mean, in some of those areas, you're talking about 30 to 40 minute drive just to get on the interstate. That's before you even hit 65 miles an hour. You got a 40-minute drive. It's all through traffic, stop and go, light to light. And man, that can make travel from those areas really, really frustrating. And unfortunately, there's no interstate that helps with traffic in the middle of the city. They have some highways like Highway or Aviation Highway, which recently was expanded. It used to end just on the outskirts of downtown, but now they've taken it and made it go through downtown, which is about maybe, I don't know, 3 to 5 mile stretch that they've increased it. And so that's been helpful, but that's a very isolated area that it's helped, which is downtown. Doesn't do anything for the areas that I already mentioned. And I'm not aware of any serious plans to be able to change that in the near future. Next up, let's see. I know I got some juicy ones in here. Well, I mean, it's always appropriate. Let's talk about the heat wave, the June-July heat wave. Now, I'm recording this video in July, and if you can't tell, my brow is it's moist. It's got some condensation on it for sure, which is par for the course in June or July. I was out with clients pretty much all day. Luckily, got a little bit of overcast, so the monsoons can give you a little bit of a break, but let's face it, you've got 3, maybe 4 months of brutally hot. I mean, it's probably not even best described as hot. It's more offensive than anything. We've got heat that skips feeling hot and just goes right to making people feel offended. And it doesn't matter where you're from. If you're standing and spending time in 110, 115 degree heat, which luckily we don't have a whole lot of successive days at that, but 105, 107, pretty normal, and that is not exactly comfortable. I've traveled to lots of other places on the opposite spectrum of summer heat, which is, you get the humid, really, really humid. Maybe the temperature is a little bit lower, but the humidity makes it feel challenging as well. I don't know which one's worse or which one's better. I mean, they both suck. Let's be honest. They both suck. I would say that with the heat in Tucson, one of the reasons that it sucks a little bit more is that we don't have lakes around Tucson. At least if you're in an area that is humid and hot and just gross, you're probably close enough to a lake. In Tucson, our closest recreational lake is maybe an hour and a half away. Patagonia Lake is the one I'm thinking about. You can look on a map. It's probably maybe an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. So it's not terribly far, but also it's not really a thing to go drive to Patagonia Lake because there's really not much around that lake anyway. It's more of a fishing lake. Nonetheless, the heat wave is something that every year, I've lived here my whole life, 36 years, and every summer I still start thinking about, man, what would it be like to live maybe somewhere a little bit cooler in the summertime? Just can't escape it. So because of that, it's on the list. Let's see what we got. Yes. So small luxury real estate market. And that is very true. I mean, even if you compare to places like Phoenix, which is our main metro in Arizona, and our main market in Arizona, we're really the sub market. We have a very limited luxury real estate market. Now, do we have luxury properties? Of course, we do. We've got luxury properties that range anywhere from $1 million up to highest sale in Tucson, right around 15 million, 13, 15 million, something like that. But anything above, say, 3 million is very, very limited. We're talking maybe double-digit sales per year, if that, maybe single-digit sales per year. So there's really just not a lot of luxury real estate. If you compare it to major areas like Phoenix and Scottsdale, places like Dallas, certainly places like California. So because of that, because it's limited in that, I think it also ties into limiting the luxury areas and luxury vibe and luxury experiences that Tucson has as well. But definitely a limited luxury market. And for that, I wish we did have more luxury real estate. I mean, not that I could afford it, but hey, who doesn't like seeing houses on the hill and being able to drive really nice neighborhoods? Mind you, we have that. But it is limited. Next, well, here it is. Limited job market. If you don't work in tech, healthcare, education, or defense, then you're kind of SOL in the job market. I mean, this is really not an economy that's booming with things outside of those categories. And so if you're looking to build a career, if you're looking to scale income and build income, and it's not in one of those areas, Tucson's going to be presenting quite a bit of challenges. And Tucson historically has been a place that people have identified they want to retire because of the warm air, low cost of living, low property maintenance. And so I think for people looking to retire, it's an easy yes. If you're looking to scale income, if you're looking to really build your career, it's really going to be something you're going to want to have to take a look at. And because of that, I think it's really kind of limited our economy as well. All right, next up, what did we get? Ooh, no super gyms. What is a super gym, Rich? Well, I'll share with you what a super gym is. If you're anything like me, and I don't even know what it's called, I just call it a super gym. If you're anything like me and you're into fitness, then having a gym is critical. And that is like a very spiritual place, a holy place, if you will. It's a place where you've integrated into your routine. It's a place you go to feel better and work on yourselves and build. And it really becomes a core component to what you want. We have lots of commercial gyms in Tucson. We've got the LA Fitness, we have the Anytime Fitness, we've got Choose Fitness, we've got these big commercial, big box gyms. And they've got what you need. They've got the, free weights, they've got some barbell stuff, they've got some exercise classes, but we don't have any super gyms. Now, a super gym would be like, if you've heard of Equinox, Google Equinox Gym. Lifetime Athlete, Lifetime Gym, Google them. The Hive, Hive in Phoenix, Google that. Those are examples of like super gyms. They are either luxury focused or they're just end to end. They're trying to give you everything from your fuel and food. They've got prepackaged meals and they've got a little restaurant in there and everything's taken care of. They've got medical stuff, so chiropractic. They've got rehab. They've got PT in there. They've got all the classes from cycling to CrossFit to yoga to bar to boxing, you name it. Then they've got all the free weights, all the barbell stuff, all the machines, treadmills, bikes, rowers. Usually they're multiple stories. They've got locker rooms that are either dedicated, you get like a dedicated locker, or they've got plenty of lockers for all of their members. It's kept up really nice. They've got recovery areas with pools, spas, saunas, cold room, steam or cold plunge, steam room, you name it. I'm going on and on because we don't really have gyms like that. We don't. We have kind of the basic standard commercial gym, gets the job done. But if you're a gym goer and it's like a second home to you, that's really something that's something that is missed for sure. And I hope that one day we will have that because I'll for sure be a member. Next up, let's see. Ooh, yep. Loud cars in Tucson. Now you might be laughing at me at this point because I think the first one was the car scene, and I am a car guy. I love cars. And so now I'm going to complain about cars too, because why not? Let's cover the full spectrum. I live in central Tucson with my family, and we're pretty close to Speedway, which is one of the main thoroughfares running east to west. Speedway, Broadway, Grant. Those are the main three thoroughfares running east to west. We live really close to Speedway, and at all hours of the day, very consistently throughout the day, you can hear loud cars with exhaust. You can hear motorcycles. I mean, I swear there's like a tribe of motorcycles. And I mean tribe, like there's a tribe because there's like 15 of them that are all in a pack and they're, headed wherever they're headed. But it's super loud. You can hear it inside my office here. You can hear it inside the house. When it is really nice and cool at night and we want to open up the windows to let the breeze kind of naturally cool off the house, it's beautiful, but it's also filled with loud Harley Davidson, and if you're a Harley fan, I get you. I got it. It's loud. but also we're talking in excess. People are out there revving, they're ripping down speedways super fast, and it's at like midnight. That's just kind of a constant noise. The other thing too is you've got lots of ambulance sirens, police, not lots, but like you're living in the city. So anywhere in Central, anywhere in Midtown, you're going to get that. Since I've lived pretty much my whole life in Midtown and Central, that is one thing that I've become like, I wish and I prefer now to have somewhere where I could open up my windows and hear nothing but silence at night specifically. Next up is, ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one. No professional sports. And I know if you can't read my writing, don't worry, because sometimes I can't read it either. But luckily this time I can. No professional sports. Yeah, we don't have any professional sports. I don't think we ever have. We've had minor league sports. We had when I was young, we had minor league baseball. I think it was called the Toros. My dad and I were just talking about this. There was another minor league baseball group that we had after the Toros, and I don't remember. I almost want to say the Padres, but I know that that's in San Diego, so I don't think it was the Padres, but it was something like that. Hockey, we just recently in the last 6 years, we had a minor league hockey club come to town, and they were the Tucson Roadrunners, so they were the club team or the minor league team to the Phoenix Coyotes, but they recently left. I think this is their last season, or they're about to complete their last season. So they're out. We have no professional sports. I mean, we have the University of Arizona, which is great. If you like college basketball, we've got an incredible basketball program. Football, don't get me started. But we've got swimming, track. So they do have some great collegiate sports at the University of Arizona. Thank goodness. But there's no professional sports, and if you're a sports person, that's a tough pill to swallow. Okay, let's do some more digging. Let's take a look. All right, so this kind of goes along with the limited high-end real estate. This lacks high-end shopping areas. Tucson really does. We've got one mall that I would really consider kind of a high-end oriented mall, and that's La Encantada in the Catalina Foothills area. By the way, shout out to one of the best patios that you could ever eat lunch at. If you get a chance, Blanco's Tacos. It's on the second story, but their patio overlooks the Tucson Valley, and it's probably one of the best lunch spot views in all of Tucson. So just a quick side note, check that out. More for the views. The food is decent, but there's probably better places. There's definitely better places to get Mexican food in Tucson. Yeah, La Encantada, probably one of the only really high-end focused malls. If you're looking to do some shopping and you're looking for more of a high-end experience, that's really it. There's a couple isolated places in Oro Valley, but because we have a limited luxury real estate market in general, there really hasn't been a whole lot of really focused luxury commercial infrastructure built either. Now, before I pull out a couple more, I just want to remind you that if you're looking to move to Tucson, or if you have a list like this of things about Tucson that you hate and you're looking to leave Tucson, we should definitely connect. Give me a call, text, email, schedule a free Zoom consult. I'm positive that I can bring some expertise and be a resource to help you navigate whether you're incoming or outgoing, and find out a little bit more about the situation and make sure that I help. So let's get connected. My contact information is in the description below. Next is lots of homes with low ceilings, and I'll explain what this means. Most of the homes in Tucson are, say, between 30 and 100 years old, most of them. Now, because of that, and also paired with that, one of the most predominant styles in Tucson of home is a ranch bungalow style home. And with those two things paired, it's very, very common that you find homes with ceiling heights that are lower than 8 foot. I'm talking 7.5 feet. I'm 6'3", so it feels like it's like right above my head. Ranch style homes, it's unfortunate. They've got lots of character. Don't get me wrong. Lots of people love them. But if you like ceiling height, it's tough. It is tough. And one of my biggest gripes, being a real estate guy, not only just as a career choice, but also I love real estate. You know, I'm an architecture nerd. I'm a real estate nerd. I really like and enjoy how homes are designed and different styles. But that low ceiling height, man, it can be tough. It can be tough for sure. It makes you feel like you're walking into like that scene out of Willy Wonka where the room just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. That's exactly how it feels like for me. Now, if that's not you, then great. You've got a ton of options here. But for me, that is one of my biggest gripes. Okay, similar thing here. We're talking about real estate. Why not? Very limited, sleek, and modern homes. Now, again, I know this probably looks like Egyptian hieroglyphs to some of you. I had to kind of pause for a second and make sure I understood. Yes, I did write that. And yes, I also am the same person that can sometimes hardly read it. But there's a very limited amount of sleek and modern styled homes, especially under $1 million. If you're anything like me and you like that style, man, it's really limited and a kind of a bummer that there isn't more, even mid-century moderns. We've got some mid-century moderns under $1 million, but it's very limited. Most of them are going to be ranch style homes, even above $1 million, with the really clean lines, large floor to ceiling windows, lots of natural light, white paint, white walls, black fixtures and touches, simple textures, simple designs, but futuristic and modern. Even above $1 million, there's really not a whole lot. Certainly, you can build, which oftentimes clients who can afford it and really enjoy that style, that is really their only option. But as someone who really appreciates that style and wishes there were more options that were available, more around that average price point, there really just isn't. Back in the trash can. This is the Tucson trash can right here, and we are going to town. Here we go. This is a good one. Crappy roads. Amen. If you have driven any amount of time in Tucson, you know what I'm talking about. The roads are horrendous. We're talking potholes. We're talking big cracks. We're talking uneven surfaces. It is literally ranked one of the worst road systems in the entire country. And I don't say that that's a proud title that Tucson has, but it is a title. And as a local Tucsonan, it is annoying. I think you kind of get used to it. It's funny because you really the big surprise and reminder of how crappy the roads are in Tucson is when I happen to hit a road that was recently repaved, and it's the smoothness that really throws me off, right? I'm driving down the road and it gets really smooth. I'm like, what? Oh, wow, they repaved this road. This is great. Because most of the roads, it's dodging potholes, it's uneven surfaces, it's cracked in the road. There's portions of the road that are really, really hard, rocky asphalt, and then other ones that are more smooth. So the roads absolutely suck. There is a lot of work being done. Like, there is a lot of construction going on in Tucson right now on roads, repaving, some widening. But, then you're dealing with construction. So you're kind of, I don't know, what's worse, the crappy roads or dealing with the years of construction? I suppose at least the construction marks an end to the crappy road. So I would prefer that. So I'm glad that they're doing something, but in general, I would say they are probably behind, and maybe they should have started making some adjustments to the roads beforehand so that they weren't so behind. All right, we are closing in. Ooh, this is a big one. Noise from Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. Now, if you didn't know, we have a Air Force Base in Tucson. It's kind of on the east side, but the flight path affects Midtown, Central, the east side, South Tucson. And if you're in the flight path, like I have been most of my life, there's no missing it. We have an A-10 squadron or squadrons that are stationed there, and then we have F-16 squadrons that are stationed there as well. And the A-10s, you don't really hear them as frequently, and they're certainly not as obnoxious. But the ones that get you, are the F-16s. There's no way around it. Those are loud and obnoxious for sure. And the tough thing is that oftentimes they're running drills at 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 p.m. I mean, it's not like, oh, there's an airplane. It's like, oh yeah, there's definitely like air traffic going down. F-16s are flying by, and they're making a level of noise that you can hear inside your house with the TV on, having a conversation. You're not going to miss it. So that is definitely something. And depending on where you're at in that flight path, it can be worse. It can be a little bit more mild, but they have a pretty extensive flight path over central Tucson. I know that from experience. I don't know exactly where their flight path is, but I can tell you that I tend to live. I tend to live right in it. So that is one thing that, if I'm at an air show, I love it. If you're someone who loves the sound of jets, reminds you of gives you that patriotic spirit, I totally get it. But there's also a time and a place, and hearing it on an ongoing basis, on a weekly basis, it's not every minute of every day. I don't want to give that opinion, but it is frequent enough that it's a thing. It's a weekly thing. It's sometimes a daily thing, depending on what type of drills they're doing and stuff like that. It is a force to be reckoned with for sure. Man, this is a good one. Dust gets everywhere. Because we're in a desert, we have a lot of sand. I literally got back from Maryland a week ago, and everyone is asking me how my trip was, and I was like, it's great. I literally didn't see dirt for a week. And in Tucson, that dirt is everywhere. I mean, there's no grass, right? There's trees, of course, but the ground is barren. It's just dirt. And so because of that, it's dry dirt and there's dust everywhere. I really didn't realize that dusting isn't really a thing elsewhere, unless you live in Tucson. I mean, I grew up, part of my chores was dusting the house, right? Once a week, you got to dust the house, because otherwise you can wipe your finger across it and there's clearly, like, you could draw faces in the dust. That is a thing out here. And other places, I just assumed that was a thing everywhere, but come to find out, nope, it's special to us here in the desert. And dust does get everywhere. It gets all over your car. It gets gets inside the house. No matter how sealed up and tight and new your house is, you're still going to have to dust. It gets in the windowsills, gets in all the little nooks and crannies. It gets on the window itself of your house or your car. So dusting is a thing, and dust, if you ask me, is one of those little things that bugs me. Now, before I share this last one with you, and this is the one that really has played a big part in the decision making for me and my wife to relocate from where we've lived in Tucson for so long. So I'll share this with you. But first, I'm curious, which of the things that I've listed right now have you experienced in Tucson? Or maybe you've experienced them somewhere else, and share a similar perspective. Drop that in the comments. I personally read and review and respond to all of the comments, and I genuinely want to know. I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments. Let me know which of these you align with, and which of them you might have experienced in the past. Now, for the last item here, this is something that I'm going to go into depth about. Lots of old commercial infrastructure, and it has been a process for me to even appreciate this. It's kind of like the road. Like, I didn't really realize the roads were that bad until you hit a smooth road. It's kind of like the old buildings and old commercial infrastructure. It is everywhere in Tucson. And I'm not talking about the old buildings that add to the character and the charm and the history. I love those buildings. Those buildings are clearly, they are preserved, they are kept up. They are historic icons in Tucson. And we have plenty of those buildings, but that doesn't describe every building. In fact, most buildings they're just old buildings. They're just old buildings that have been painted over way too many times. It doesn't matter how many more coats of paint are put on this building, it's not going to look young anymore. And that is all over Tucson. And so after a while, I think I've just become so accustomed to seeing that. It wasn't until I truly started exploring me personally living in other areas, that I started to appreciate that, man, there's a lot of old infrastructure in Tucson. It just looks dated and run down, to be honest with you. Like paint can only fix so much, the styles are old. Clearly it's in need of help. The window, everything about the property is old, and it's clearly showing its age. It's a bit of an eyesore, if I'm being completely honest. So because of that, that really kind of started to play into our decision to move out of Midtown and Central Tucson, because there are other areas that are in the suburbs or even rural parts of surrounding Tucson that you don't see that. Buildings are newer. The infrastructure is newer, the commercial buildings are newer, everything is kept up a little bit nicer, not because it's necessarily trashy, but the buildings are old, kind of decrepit, they're falling apart, they're showing its age for sure. And so because of that, that was one of the reasons that really started to play into our decision. So yeah, Tucson isn't perfect, but what city is? I mean, seriously. And the truth is, knowing the cons can be the very first step to falling in love with Tucson and having an honest perspective of it. Now, if you're planning on moving to Tucson, let's get connected. Grab my contact information down below out of the description. I'll put it on screen right here for you as well. You can call, text, email, schedule a free Zoom consult so that we can meet face to face like this and discuss your real estate goals. Whether you're incoming or outgoing, it does not matter. I'll be a resource for you and be happy to do that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hit that thumbs up to support myself and the channel. And until next time, I hope to see you around the neighborhood.